AI has become a part of my daily workflow as a UX UI designer. It helps me with copywriting, image generation, summarizing meeting notes. But here's one thing I don't use AI for: designing the UI itself. So that got me thinking, what actually happens if we try to design an app fully with AI? Can it produce something I'd actually ship, or does it still need a human designer to step in? And more importantly, are we closer to getting replaced than we think? In this video, I'll try to design a habit tracking app using Composo, which is the sponsor of today's video. Composo is a UI design tool that helps turn your ideas into designs really fast. It's also used by individuals at companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and other leading brands. The way it works is very simple. You can design using plain language, generate screens, edit layouts, create iterations, all through a conversational AI agent. And today I'll be putting it to the test. Then I'll do my own version and we'll compare the AI output against a human polished version. Here's the prompt that I'll use. You can select the color theme for the design and they have a bunch of options for the model. You can even upload an image for reference. I'm gonna go with Gemini 3 Pro and let's do no theme for now. Click on generate. It's showing a screen plan here and I can review and see if everything's aligned with what I'm requesting. This looks good to me. 4 screens, exactly what I want. Let's click build. And what I really like about Composo is that it works in plain language, so you don't need to write structured commands. Just describe what you want and it'll generate for you. And after just a moment, we get our screens here. Okay, first impression. The colors are all over the place. They look like they were taken from different apps. Let's start with the homepage. So I really like this big visible current streak that we have. I think this is supposed to represent today's progress, which I don't think is communicated very well. I'm not a fan of this animated rocket emoji. The calendar is taking up way too much space. I think it can be redesigned. I also like the priority level, although the second one says health, so that's more of a category rather than a priority level. The create button, I like it's big, it's visible, it's prominent, but the menus are totally different with the other screen that we have here. So that needs to be fixed as well. Moving on to the habit detail screen. First thing I noticed, the top third here definitely needs to be reorganized. We have the health in all caps, the frequency in gray, the icon is slightly tilted, like the whole thing definitely needs to be designed better. The current streak, best streak, side by side, I like this, although I'm not sure what the bar here is supposed to represent. And the top 5%, I don't know how I feel about this. I wasn't thinking of a social app where people compete with each other. Consistency calendar, it's okay. The missed days and future dates, they look quite similar. I would have designed this a little different. The motivation section, I really love this. History is okay. I love the check-in button here. It's very big, it's very prominent, it has very good contrast. Although one thing that I'd love to see here that I'm not seeing is simple analytics of this particular habit, like when did I start doing this habit or how many repetitions have I done since. Now let's talk about the analytics screen. So first off, I like the added gamification elements like the level and rank. The radar chart here isn't exactly what I had in mind when I thought about the progress screen. I was thinking something more of an overview of how consistent you are in doing these habits. I was also hoping to see more metrics like how many habits in total have I completed, when did I start my journey, what's my daily average completion rate, and to be fair, maybe I should have specified that in the prompt. This chart, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to load up properly. I'm also not seeing where I can switch between weekly, monthly, and yearly overview. And the badges, yeah, I like these. I think these are a nice addition to the app. And lastly, we have the habit creation screen. So the new habit title here is definitely offset. It's not perfectly centered. The habit title itself is very nice and big. I also like that you can customize the icon and the color. The bottom half, I think there are some things missing here. First off, I want the frequency to allow for more customizations. At this point, there's no way for me to set up a habit to occur every other day or every Monday and Thursday, for example. And I don't think I can set this to be multiple times a day. I also don't think we need this smart schedule feature here. I like the set time feature though, and I would add an end time here as well and make it optional. Okay, so clearly at this stage, it hasn't generated the designs that we want. I'll use Composo's Edit with AI feature, which allows me to reference what I already have on the screen and just tell it what to change instead of starting with a new prompt from scratch. First off, let's establish the screens and main navigations we want on the app. I only want 3 tabs: Home, Create New Habit, which is the main call to action, and Progress. I want the home screen to be in dark mode, keep orange as the brand color, redesign the calendar, and show today's date somewhere on the header. I also want a priority level, low, medium, high, added to each habit and show today's progress clearly, as in how much of the tasks for the day are remaining. Here's the prompt that I'll use for the home screen. I'll paste this prompt and let's generate another version of the homepage. Now this looks much better. We get the daily progress summary that we want, although it still retains that 75% chart, which I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. We also have priority levels for the tasks. Overall, I'm quite happy with how it looks now. Let's do the habit detail screen next. This is the prompt that I wrote. I'll just paste this here and click on generate. This is what we get. The design looks roughly the same outside of color change. It updated the calendar UI slightly so I can tell the difference between my missed days and future days easier. And we also get the starting date and how many times this habit has been completed. Let's do the progress screen now. Here's the prompt. I'll go over to edit with AI, paste in my prompt, click generate. This is what we get. Now we're much closer to what I had in mind for this analytics screen. We get the overview metrics, when I started my journey, average completion, all the stats that I want to have here. It also changed the rank and level card to orange. It added a consistency overview with a personalized message, which is nice, and a time period selector on the top right, although the chart still is not rendered properly, so I'm not sure what's going on there. The navigation looks exactly how I wanted it to be. The current streak, best streak, and how many perfect days are all shown here, which I think should be moved to the top. We also still have the achievement badges, which is great. And lastly, let's do the habit creation screen. This is the prompt. Paste the prompt here. This is what it generates. I'm seeing a shade of orange on the background, so it's not really the pitch black that I wanted. It also seems to be using a different shade of orange than the ones that's used on a homepage. I really like how it totally reworked the bottom half of the screen. We can choose whether this should be tracked every day, multiple times a day, which specific days of the week, much better. It also removed the smart schedule feature and added the end time as per requested. So after a round of revision for each screen, these are the designs that we got. I don't necessarily hate it, I don't love it either. Overall, these screens look way more cohesive now. They look like they actually came from the same app. Now, obviously, there are rooms for improvement, but I think it's great that we can come up with this level of concepts in a relatively short amount of time solely from prompts. Now, let's talk about where this works. I think it's actually good for fast layout scaffolding, exploring different design directions. I can explore different styles and layouts quickly and save some time, especially in the very early stages of the project. I can use it to test whether or not a concept will work before putting in hours designing something that maybe won't work. It also helps in brainstorming and coming up with features that you might not think of initially, like the user levels, achievement badges, the customizations. Honestly, I didn't think of those when I was writing the prompt. Now, let's be honest, this is definitely not something I'd ship out to production. My first issue is with consistency. The initial screens really look like they belong to different apps. Two screens had completely different sets of navigation menus. The colors and the typography were inconsistent. The button styles. There were so many things that needed fixing. Another issue is that it looks quite generic. There's no emotional depth, there's no personality. It feels more like a wireframe rather than a finished product. And lastly, the lack of human judgment is quite obvious to me. Let's take the analytics screen for example. It has a radar chart with all of these metrics like career and soul and wealth. I was thinking of simple data like how many habits have I completed this month? What's my average completion rate? How many days did I miss? Things like that. And even after revisions with specific instructions, it still uses different shades of oranges for the screens, different fonts and type scales. The consistency overview is still hidden after a scroll, so it's not exactly thinking about what the user needs to see first. And this is why I don't use AI to design UIs for me. Design isn't just about layout. It's understanding context, emotions, user needs. And I don't think AI really understands that just yet. And that isn't to say that AI is failing here. In my opinion, it's just doing its job. And its job is to give me a starting point fast and allow me to explore ideas quickly. I used what AI gave me as a foundation and created my own version in Figma. It took me about 2.5 hours, and this is what I came up with. For the home screen, I moved the streak to the top left and changed the card to show the daily progress instead. I simplified the calendar UI, added a simple tab for filtering between completed and remaining tasks, and redesigned the tab bar as well. I also added individual streaks for each habit and changed the priority level to these colorful icons. For the habit detail screen, I included current streak, best streak, and completion rate as the primary metrics on top, redesigned the calendar UI with a little overview of total days missed and completed. I also changed the check-in button, added this simple swipe interaction to minimize accidental check-ins, and removed the background image from the notes section as I don't think it fits within the app style. For the progress screen, I kept the user level on top, along with the starting date and current streak. Perfect days, daily average, and best streaks are all here as well. Below that, we have the weekly consistency overview. I kept the personalized encouragement message from AI, which I think is a nice addition to the app, and kept the achievement badges down here. And lastly, the habit creation screen. I kept the icon and color personalization option, added the priority level question. The rest of the fields are pretty much identical, it's just the UI that looks a bit different. Now everything looks more consistent. The navigation, the color system, the topography, the spacing. But more importantly, design feels more personal. Something that actually encourages you to open daily and track your progress. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So, do I think UI designers will get replaced by AI? Not anytime soon. The biggest mistake designers make with AI is expecting it to replace taste and human judgment, and I don't think AI is at that level yet, especially when it comes to user interface. AI design tools like Composo, they aren't trying to replace designers. They're selling speed and explorations. So the designs not being perfect, in my opinion, actually proves that the product is being used correctly. You're not supposed to ship what it generates. To me, using AI properly can really make your workflow more efficient by taking advantage of what it's best at, which are again, speed and exploration, and combine that with human creativity. If you want to try Composo, test out a couple of ideas, see if it's a good fit for your workflow, you can check it out using the link in the description. It's free. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.